So we are live, um, and I I'm not sure, but I think this might be the first time I actually watch this OVA because originally when I watched the series, I just watched the OVA series, um, because basically this OVA, it's not an OVA, sorry, this film, I guess, is is basically the first battle, right? It's been a while since I watched it. If you do you guys remember?
Y- yes, it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the battle before the first battle. Even though a lot of the story beats are the same as what you get at the start of the OVA series. Yeah, I like watched this yesterday, but I also watched this film for the first time like a few months after I finished the original OVA, because I found out that, oh yeah, there's like a prequel film as well, so I went to watch it. It's pretty good. Some people say like you should watch this film because it functions as a simpler introduction to the show, because if you think about like the original series, there's like names everywhere. It like flicks between like different planets and things, and like what's Reinhardt doing, what's Yang Wenli doing, and that's all kind of in the first episode, and it can be confusing for some people. There's like a lot of stuff going on, but and if you watch this film, it's just a little bit slower, and you can kind of get like a gist of what's going on a bit easier. I think overall it's a bad idea to start with this film, and you should just like start with the OVA series instead.
Yeah. So another reason that people say to watch this film before the OVA series is that the animation supposedly looks a bit cuter or nicer, but
Yeah, that's true.
yeah. I mean, I don't really care about that sort of thing. So I think I mean, if you're going to watch the series anyway, you're going to have to get used to the way it looks, anyhow. So,
Yeah.
um, but because I don't know, it's been a while since I watched it, but apparently the first few episodes of the series are a bit jankier compared to the rest or something. I don't know. Um,
Yeah. Um,
Sort of. I mean, I would say they are janky, but at the same time, if you have a problem with the episodes being janky, other alternative is they remade the first two episodes into a film. Funny enough.
oh, there's another film. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, yes.
yeah, I think like all over this show there are some like god awful animation cuts, but there's also like quite a lot of nice and animation. This one is a good example of there being like really awful animation. Like sometimes you'll see like vistas of of ships flying past, and like they'll be at like the wrong angle, or like drawn at like weird different angles, and like I'm not quite sure like why they did that. But other times, like when they're arriving at Isolorn, um, that whole segment like looks amazing. Well, I would say amazing, but it looks good. So yeah, I don't really know like how it was like produced, but I guess like I'm guessing like more attention was um put in like important places, and like a lot
Well,
of the filler scenes, or transition or transition scenes where characters are just like saying their lines. Less attention is put there where you're going to see a bit of like dodgy angle work and stuff. But
well,
it's still fine. Like there's nothing that like takes you out of it really.
I can sort of
Um,
explain why the animation was janky and why you notice some inconsistencies. You have to remember the OVA wasn't produced by one company but four different companies, and these four different companies were directing different episodes.
Right. So this film came out. So the film you're talking about, My Conquest is the Sea of Stars, came out in 1988. and I believe the other film that you were talking about, George, was Overture to a New War, which came out in 1993, I think. Probably that one.
Yes.
Yeah, but there's a few other films, and from what I've heard, they're not worth watching really that much. Um, Basically, prequel films, mostly about Reinhardt and Kirchhoff's going on adventures or something. I think that sort of thing is probably left off better to the imagination. Um, yeah. So Fahrenheit, why don't you think that this is a good place to start watching Legend of the Galactic Heroes?
Well, I think I guess it depends what you care about. If you care about nicer animation, then yeah, like this is a good place to start. But a lot of his film is just very similar character wise to like the first four episodes of the original OVA series. You have a segment where Yang suggests something to his superior officer. He gets shot down, and then obviously like the decisions his superior makes costs like the lives of like hundreds of thousands of men. Like exactly the same thing happens in like the start of the OVA. Like there isn't like that much difference between what goes on there. I guess like in the film, it starts when they're fighting in a planet and like a creative um sequence does happen there where Reinhardt shoots a nuke at the atmosphere, and that like destroys like the enemy fleet or heavily damages the enemy fleet. But it's not really that much different from the original series where Reinhardt also does something unexpected as well, and he also again just like destroys like a enemy fleets. I mean, like obviously, like literally different things happened, but in terms of like characters and the developments that come off these events are basically the same. Um, if you if you sort of like remember like what happens at the start at the very beginning of the OVA.
Yeah,
Um,
I also remember that the OVA, the first episode was a lot more brutal than this, maybe. Um,
yeah, it is. It is. The OVA is more violent. I don't think you see any blood in this film.
yeah, no, I think this is basically something for the fans. Basically, some fan service. Like an extra for people who are already into the story. Um,
Yeah, I agree with that. Um, It's also another reason really why I think it's a bad idea to start with this film is because Iceland Fortress is then revealed too early. Because in the original series, it's supposed to be like this big thing that you build up to. It's like this amazing construction in the middle of space. That sort of controls the corridor, the Iceland corridor. But in the film, it's just like there. It's like oh yeah, we've like turned up at this fortress. And yeah, the fortress is still made to seem important, but it just seems less important in this film than it does in the show. So
Yeah.
I think yeah, like I would just say that I think a good idea with this film, like I think if you start the original series and you're overwhelmed, maybe you want to go back and watch this movie. But otherwise, it's just a good idea to maybe give it some time, like watch a good portion of the OVA, or maybe the entire OVA series, and then go back and watch the prequel, because I think it's just there for like supplementary purposes more than anything.
Or you can, yeah, watch the OVA, and if you don't like how the first two episodes look, you can watch I guess you would call it the remake film as well.
um, I mean, as a film, also, I didn't feel like this was that good. It felt like three ordinary episodes stuck together.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say it felt like a very long episode.
Yeah, it's less than an hour, so like for a film it's very short, but yeah, like for 3 episodes, it's like perfect length. It doesn't. I guess there is like a beginning, middle, end. It is way it has like the bare essentials for a film. Um, I didn't actually feel bored. Like the whole film like passed very very quickly. It was I was quite engaged with it. It wasn't a bad film, but it didn't really feel like as epic as the show is. Just like the OVA series. It lacked like the grandeur that you sort of feel with the original series.
Yeah, I think that's a problem also with the new LOGH TV series. It doesn't feel grungy at all. And also another thing is that in the TV series they can take more time to build up the tension, whereas here you have like one or two battles, and then young Wenley somehow uh, he, he just comes up with something to prevent a.
Yeah, it's very funny because it's quite oftentimes the solutions he comes up with are like quite goofy and in this case like his solutions are like particularly silly. Like the first time when they're fighting on the planet in the planet atmosphere, the way Yang saves his ship is like he gets Dusty Attenborough to pretend to like trip over, and when he like pretends to trip over, he he pushes a lever, and that causes the ship to rise in elevation, and like they're able
Yeah.
to escape the atmosphere. I mean, it wasn't like it didn't put me out of the movie or anything, but it was like kind of like a bit wacky if you
Yeah,
if you sort of know what I mean.
yeah. Basically, the problem is that it's not Wenley against Reinhardt. It's mostly just Reinhardt defeating all of the alliance, the Free Planets Alliance forces very very easily, because Wenley doesn't have any power to do anything for the most part until the very end. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. The FPA gets like pretty BTFO'd in this film. So if you're like a Empire fan, then this is like pretty good. It's like
I mean,
uh,
to be fair, even the whole OVA is just Free Planets Alliance gets decimated.
yeah. I mean, it's like sometimes they get their victories, but yeah, like it's pretty inevitable in a whole OVA. But yeah, like this film is like particularly brutal for the FPA, especially at the end. One of the best parts of this film is at the end. After the main battle is over, and what's he called? He's called like Joe Bertunin, Tunin or whatever. He's like the
Oh,
leader of the FPA.
oh, job turning.
Yeah. Job turning. And he like he's like congratulating them, but I just loved like how hollow that felt. It's like half like half of everyone died, if not more. Like over like 1 million men died, and like Job is like here just saying well done guys, good work. It's just like I don't know, like that emptiness was like really well and put across in comparison to like the Golden Beard dynasty, their troops, where they actually like feel something. They feel grateful for like how their superiors acted. Um,
I kind of like how the Kaiser just doesn't care anymore because he's about to die, and he's an old man, and he just doesn't care essentially. Um,
yeah,
um, so yeah, another thing which I did notice, which I guess I had kind of forgotten, is how the characters the character design kind of do like look like shoujo manga. Uh, the males in shoujo manga, essentially. The love
Yeah,
interests. Uh, especially, I don't know. Kirikai's in particular looked a bit like that, but yeah. Or maybe I'm getting my memories a bit mixed because I also watched the other OVA.
I don't know. Like I think the designs just in general like look more realistic than
they do.
normal. Um, everyone's like very handsome. Even like the more like uglier guys, Ulberstein. Ulberstein is like he's still like pretty handsome, you know. I would say like he's like a 8 or like 7, you know, out of 10. Even though he was like born with like birth defects. But you know that is explained like why everyone looks like so handsome is because defective genes are like literally removed in that system. So it's like I don't know. It just it felt so normal. I didn't feel like they were like from like shoujo manga apart from like maybe Kirkais. But that might just be because of his his weird hair color or something. I don't know.
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Okay. What else is there to say about this movie? George, do you have any other thoughts?
Well, I suppose the one way to summarize this film is kind of a. Well, only is it a long Legend of Galactic Heroes episode, it covers pretty much all the. I don't know if you would call it tropes, but kind of the aspects of Legend of Galactic Heroes. It has everything from super hyper competent commanders controlled by incompetent or corrupt commanders, and the commanders are so stupid that you begin to wonder how do they manage to survive this long.
Yeah, but I guess they survived because the other guys are equally as incompetent, right?
Yeah, that is true.
And also, there's space. I was yeah, I can't say that on YouTube, but there's there's Pezan or whatever it's called. Essentially making sure that one side wins one battle and the other side wins one battle, and they keep on profiting basically.
Guess
There's like
the
foreign interference.
guess the term would be non-alien fringy.
Yeah. Though in this film, it should be said that like Fezzen just aren't in it at all. There's like no way of knowing like Fezzen exists. It's just like a straight fight between the Alliance and the Dynasty. I don't I don't know what I was going to say next. um, yeah. In the original series, in the episodes, Fezzen is introduced very quickly. I think like literally in the first episode, or like all the main sides are introduced quite untransparently. But yeah, I guess that's like another argument for this film being like a bit of a simpler introduction.
Yeah, and I guess what else is there to say? I guess there's the theme is already introduced here of Benley being unable to basically just force his way, no matter what, like yeah, basically just be more forceful to try to get things his way. Because I think he does literally say that like if he was a soldier who disobeyed orders, then he wouldn't at the very least he wouldn't be the soldier of a democratic army or something. Uh, which yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Young's whole thing is like, I need to like stay within like these like boundaries. but at the same time, like those rules and boundaries, and like his reliance on like his superiors like making the right choice is ultimately like why he loses. I mean, like you know, it's very possible because like just in terms of like sheer talents, Yang is like the best general in the entire galaxy, and you know if he had the powers, he if he had like supreme power, if he was like dictator of like of the FPA for a short time, like you know, kind of like if or kind of like how Rome in times of crisis elected emperors like from the Senate. If Yang had that kind of power, it's possible like that he could have like turned the tide of war, and he could have brought a peace. But that just like never happens for him because of his principles.
Um,
He never goes and takes power. Really, it sort of either falls on you know into his lap, or he's
oh,
like forced into these positions. Like and that kind of happens in this film where he just like where like he knows that the entire fleet are just going to get annihilated, and so he kind of has to go on his suicide um, diversionary mission to save like as you know as many people as possible, and it's only really under those circumstances that Yang is actually like able to show off his talents.
Hmm.
well, not only that, but Yang also suffers from ideology blindness where he goes, oh, our current democracy is terrible and all, but we haven't tried real democracy yet.
Yeah, it's funny because like certain characters, I'll sorry, I'll this will be like the last thing I say about the actual OVA series, but like Admiral Spilett, like characters like him like notice the degradation of of the FPA, and they sort of understand that the FPA isn't really a democracy anymore. But Yang is still holding on to this ideal that it can be like reformed, and that it isn't like doomed to like to despotism or like the whims of a foreign power.
Yeah,
It can be redeemed.
I mean, even in this series, right? Or rather, in this film, if I'm not mistaken, like they say that Job Trunit avoided, or rather, when he served, when he did his military service, he didn't actually have to go um, to the front lines, but was just allowed to stay back. But the media can't say that publicly. Or was it the other OVA which I watched? I'm confused. The other film that I watched, probably the other film. Um,
Yeah, I think it was probably of a film.
yeah,
He only really like turns up like in like one scene at the end where like he's like saying like where he's saying like good work to everyone. You know, you're on like a holy war against like despotism. You know, it's like basically he's just like a American leader. I mean, you know, like the FPA is basically just a is like Space America in terms of its like casus belli against its you know against the foreign powers, and also like kind of like the charade that gets put up. You know, the this like charade of democracy.
I
Uh,
mean, yeah, I would say either Space America or Space NATO.
yeah.
hmm Um, I I mean, did you guys feel like Yang was basically a pacifist for the most part?
Uh, yeah, he seems like one of the types where if he didn't have a, if he wasn't forced to
I
be
mean,
a military,
he's constantly saying war is bad, right?
Yeah, yeah. He's also like also you know also in his actions, he like every like military move he makes is in pursuit of peace. Like the first like major victory he gets when he secures Isolorn, is in hopes that he can secure a peace. And in this film, like at no point does he is he focused on defeating an enemy. It's everything is based around like saving lives. We are not going to win this engagement. We just need to get out of here and just like save our numbers.
Yeah. I guess this might be a good point to talk about because Kirkais is still alive here.
Yeah.
And I believe at least at one point he prevents Reinhardt from making a mistake in the battle. I guess what did you make of the relationship between them, especially during battles between the two of them?
Yeah, I think if you just watch this film, like their closeness like is pretty obvious. I think it does seem like Reinhardt and Kirkjois normal. Nothing like
Yes.
really seemed off about their characters. It just they're just like very close friends. Very very close friends
Yeah.
who held hands. But anyway.
No, I guess what I meant was, did you feel like Reinhardt at any time was getting a bit too cocky, and Kirkjais had to tell him to slow down or something?
I think there is a point where Reinhard is like fully prepared to like sacrifice like himself, so they can get so like the whole fleet can get that like final victory when Yang sort of like parked his ship like right underneath the Brunhild. But Kirkjais stops him, I believe, or is that the captain? Yeah, like the captain says, like you may be in control of the fleet, but like I'm in control of the ship. And Kukos also steps in at that moment as well, and it's like calms down Reinhardt, and he says, like we shouldn't like attack right now. We should just let the fleet like move past us.
I don't know. Personally, I find that the scenes. I found the scenes because I mean you see it a bit in this film as well, but also in the OVA series you see that basically screen time is divided between stuff which is going on in the FPA and stuff which is going on in the Empire. And I guess which of the two did you prefer, if any, to watch? Not I'm not
Um,
asking I'm not asking which side you would rather have won, but rather which
no,
the scenes on which side you. Yeah.
I think in this film the Empire was just more interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because basically we got to see Isarlon and how they looked the commanders looked down on Reinhardt, whereas we didn't really get to see much of the FPA except a job thrown it, and
Yeah, like the only thing he gets with the FPA is like some banter between between a Yang and Dusty. That's really it. And like Yang is moaning about like how they're not like listening to me, and that's him, and that's kind of like the that's kind of all that's really happening. But on the Empire side, you have some like gunners. I think they're gunners. One guy's like a rookie, the other guy is like a veteran, and the vet is like calming down like the rookie, and he's like showing him, look, we might die, but we could like still have like a good time. And you see some like you see like a brothel or something, or like a bar at Isolorn, and you sort of see how like the lower like crew members um, spend their times like compared to like the captains and the admirals and things, and like their in like their gentleman's club, a little bit like further up, we're playing snooker and stuff, and that's all like pretty interesting, and a lot, also we even get to see stuff between Mittermeier and Oriental earlier than the usual, where like they go to defend the honor of Reinhard when they overhear some of the officers like talking about how Reinhard is like hiding underneath his sister's dress and stuff, and they like walk up to like defend his to defend Reinhard's honor, but they like but some other guys like beat him to it, and like there's like a kind of like a funny like a fight scene there as well, and then obviously your boy Kirky Ice comes and calms everything down, because Kirky Ice is of course a absolute bro, and you also get to see a bit of how Kirky Ice is able to coordinate and win the admiration of sort of lower ranking officers and officers and things. So yeah, like all these like all the stuff like you see like socially on the Empire side is like pretty good. I'd say.
Yeah. I just checked on Mal, and like Job Trunit has like 14 people who marked him as one of their favorite characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see why. I mean, he's not a he's a terrible person, but he is kind of this sinister, like, ooh, I'm this sinister. I wouldn't say Machiavellian, but he has the only reason he exists is just to parasite off of other countries and think for himself.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder what kind of people chose, because I think you can only choose like 5 favorite characters on Mal or something, and I guess Job Trunit had to be one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
For comparison's sake, Oberstein has got 1,227 people saying that, or who have favorited him or whatever. Anyway,
Yeah.
back
Cool.
back to the movie. Did we get to see? I don't think we got to see any women soldiers, but did we get? Did we?
On the FPA side, you do see some women, but they don't like get any speaking lines.
Other than that, did we see any women?
Only in a brothel on the Empire side as well, and and there's also a hologram of Reinhard's sister, and that's kind of it.
Right. Can't think of it.
Actually, I guess you also get to see a hologram of Mittermeier's girlfriend at the time as well.
At the time,
There
yeah.
you go.
Yeah, no, I don't. No, yeah, it's Reventhal who keeps on changing women, not Mittenmeier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I was remembering like how good this like show is. I honestly like can't wait to watch it all again.
Yeah, this movie. Watching this movie was a bit of a tease, I guess. We got to see Olivier Poplan. I think he was the one of the pilots that they show on the FPA side sometimes.
Oh yeah, he is.
Our
Yeah, and
localizer.
like, oh yeah. I guess there is like a very small scene of him like taking bets from people of like who's gonna win the next battle, and like everyone is like, or like most people are betting on the Empire to win. Yeah, and then Yang comes, and then there's like a funny scene there as well. Yeah, I mean it was there was as we've said, there wasn't really much like interpersonal stuff going on in the FPA, but the stuff you do get is like fine, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I guess another difference between the FPA and the Empire is that even though they are both incompetent. I don't remember seeing any scenes where like the soldiers of the empire were literally betting that their own side would lose, or something like that. I don't know.
No.
It's kind of like the people on the FPA are more self-aware about the leadership than the other side. Strangely, um,
Yeah, I mean, that is true. Yeah. Also, I guess the FPA spend more time losing. Because when they're betting like against themselves, like they have this like badly lost engagement with the enemy. So it makes more sense that the FPA would be feeling like more despair. Um,
um, okay, what else? I started to talk about. Was there any? Because I guess one of the things which people like to point out about the main OVA series is that like there's episodes and sections where like you literally get a you know a made up history lesson or documentary.
oh,
Um,
oh yeah, there was like a really funny bit of a Yang like studying history, and it was just like it was just like flashing random images. Just like random like dislocated
Oh yeah,
images just being
where he
flashed
just
at.
like
It's like yeah,
where he skips. I think it's military training. Just like, oh, I want to watch this documentary now.
yeah, yeah. Documentaries in the future are kind of different, aren't they? It's like it's just like
it,
it's literally just like flashing images.
it's
But
he's basically watching those what are they called, My Dark Little History or something, My Little Dark Age. Um,
yeah, yes, yeah, perfect. Oh god.
um,
But sorry, I can't get over like what you just said. My dark little history, yeah.
A little
Yeah,
dark age golden
in
bomb dynasty.
yeah, yeah. Though when in fairness to that scene, it was a bit weird, but Yang like does say something like pretty smart in that scene. Like, I guess you could say, Dusty asks him like, what are you doing? And Yang says, I'd like to say I'm studying history, but really like that just means studying war. And then he goes on to say like his like usual spiel about how like every page of history is like filled with a war of one sort or another, and that bodes badly for us. It was just it was just like a nice little scene with Yang, just doing his thing.
yeah, no, I think he also slandered coffee, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is based.
okay, you like tea, I guess.
Yeah,
Uh,
of course I do. Who do you think I am?
but I should be liking tea too. I mean, that's where you get it from. So,
No, it's so good.
um,
My dark little, my dark little history. So good.
um, but I don't know. You kind of. I mean, I just came off of watching Gundam Seed, which you should watch too. I think you will have some fun about it. It's
Yeah,
how the
yeah.
characters are
Oh,
like
well.
even crazier than in the original Gundam.
Oh, cool.
Um,
Yeah. Oh, I'll check it out.
yeah, because we'll talk about it on the 1st or the 2nd of October probably. Um, yeah, and I mean the whole thing with that as well is that like it's very preachy as well. And the villain is like the whole of human history is just war, so everyone should just die because this is what humanity really wants, to kill each other. until the last last man is dead, or something like that.
Thanks, Domino.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see the influence of that here as well. And I guess it's to an extent basically the Japanese projecting a little bit, because the whole thing about fighting to the last man, um, against the Americans. But didn't this film also start, if I'm not mistaken, with a bit from the narrator, about
Yeah, he did.
yeah,
Yeah.
um, basically explaining, I mean, because it's kind of a weird title, isn't it? Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
conquest is a sea of stars. Yeah.
yeah,
I
that
mean,
too.
I think if it's, well, I mean, Legend of the Galactic Heroes makes sense. It's I think it explains like quite clearly like why it's called that.
Yeah.
The show takes the view that history is moved by special individuals, who are able to assert their influence over the course of events, and um, you know, so it makes sense. I guess what's unclear really in this film is like after the colon. My conquest is to see its stars. I guess if it was more based around Reinhardt or something, it would have made more sense. But it doesn't really make much sense in the case of this film because it's just more of a like straightforward back and forth between two warring powers, and Reinhardt is less front and center, if you sort of know what I mean. I don't know. Nice.
Who made this? Was it Frederica? Um, anyway,
Yeah, it must be.
must be. Um,
Yeah. Though
so yeah,
though like Yang like does get like a lot of love letters, so it could be anyone.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah. I don't remember anything like that happening in the TV series, but yeah, maybe. I mean, he does end up getting together with one of his fangirls, essentially.
Yeah,
You could say. Um,
yeah. Even that is like his hand is kind of forced in an odd sort of way. Like it's only really by chance that he happens to be on the same ship as her, and their roles are very sort of closely tied together. But like that just like sums up all of Yang's character really. He's more of like a reactive figure, because I think that's just like his personality.
yeah, yeah. There's a soundtrack called "Reluctant Heroes" in the original soundtrack for Attack on Titan, and I guess you could describe him as basically a reluctant hero, or something like that.
Yeah. He's he's very reluctant. If Yang had his way, he wouldn't be a hero at all. He would just be a historian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Whereas, yeah. Whereas I think there's a bit, or maybe again, there's a bit where like Reinhardt uh, is lying down, looking at the stars, and stretching his hands out, talking to Kirkiais.
Yeah,
Where he says that in every culture, like children will stretch their hands towards the stars and realize that they can't reach, that their arms are too short to reach them. But I guess he thinks that it's different for him, which reminded me of another, which I think that there's another quote by Venley, where I basically say, from the TV series, where he basically says something um, like maybe there's a truth to this universe, but my arms are too short to reach it, or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while. Yeah. So Oberstein does barely show up, and well, if you are in the know, then you would notice that his eyes are blinking because they are cybernetic, or however you call them. I guess we also get to. Was the old man there? I think the old man was there, right? I like his character a lot. For a turncoat. I mean, what's his name?
Who were meerkats?
Yes.
Yeah, he was a pretty good character.
Yeah.
I think he does show up here, or maybe I'm mistaken.
I don't remember him being in the film, but I might have missed it. I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe it's again. I should have only watched the one. Yeah. As for the music, as I pointed out, they use the same music which they used in Love Exposure for the last during the last battle.
Yeah,
Which I guess I found a bit funny. You know,
yeah,
given
I
the
do. I do know. Yeah, I mean, well, it's just it's you know, it's a good song. You know,
yeah.
I don't know what to say. It's very versatile.
And basically, as I said, they were in that comment to you. They were both basically both Love Exposure and Legend of the Galactic Heroes were going for something epic, even if it was a different kind of epic, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Anything? Yeah. I think that we have discussed everything that there is to say. Okay, then. For a score, it's a bit hard. I don't want to give it a low score, but if if I were to judge this by itself, it's a 6.5 out of 10, maybe a 7. But I would, as a film, I wouldn't really give it any more than that.
Yeah, I agree. In a lot of ways, it was lacking. Well, but it works perfectly fine on in the context of the series. And even as like a very bare bones film, it does work. I don't really know like what classifies and doesn't classify it as a like feature length film. I don't know if like just under a hour like actually classifies it as feature length. I'm not sure, but
Probably not.
yeah, like I would just give it the same score.
I would say in my case, I would give it a 7. It's not as good as the OVA, obviously, but it's still a pretty good film on its own merits, even though it's not. Yeah, I would still say it's a good film on its own merits.
Yeah,
By the way, do you know what the studio for this series and also for well, for some of the episodes in the original video animation, in the OVA, do you know what the studio is called?
Well,
no,
there's a few studios.
Yeah, but for this one and for some of the episodes, but for this entire film anyway, it's called a Kitty Film. Yeah.
oh yeah, I see. Yeah, there's like 3 production companies here under the film. There's Artland, Kitty Films, and Madhouse. Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Madhouse.
Is this for the film or for the original TV series?
This
Or the
this is
OVA?
for the film.
For the
This
okay.
is for the film. Yeah.
Yeah, looks like they have worked on some Ranma as well, so it makes sense. Yeah. Okay. How long have we been going on?
I
50.
think like just
50
like
minutes. Okay.
almost almost as long as the film itself.
We are such good
Maybe
reviewers.
maybe we could like stretch this out, for like 9 more minutes, and we can we can like trick people into thinking like this is like a film upload or something.
Yeah, yeah. That's basically what happens on my channel. Though, for some reason, those streams that we did on those short story streams, for some reason, got a lot of views as well. I don't know what the algorithm thinks.
Yeah.
Strange.
Well, that's like all like original content. It's not like a
Yeah, yeah.
I think we like all let off a good energy on our streams. It's I do quite like doing those.
Okay, so anything else? Anything, literally anything that else about the film that you could say to drag this out?
Uh, um,
Suppose one thing that is funny is how the whole battle, the whole conflict, how it won. It's literally just solar flares. Well, yeah, I won't say solar flares, but flares from the star that they were in.
Um, yeah, I can't think of it. What happened during the first battle? Have you guys seen Captain Tyler?
yeah, of course.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, you're referring to that episode, yes.
yeah. Where basically, he accidentally ends up defeating an enemy fleet by basically the fleet fires at the star or whatever, the planet or something which is underneath them, and yeah, I don't know, something happens, and then but basically, even though it's an accident, Tyler ends up getting all the credit, whereas here it's the opposite. It's not an accident. Reinhardt did it on purpose, but he's not getting any of the credit.
Yeah, it's true. I don't really know like how accurate it is like setting fire to like the upper parts of like a sun. I don't know, like I guess it is kind of explains like how they let off like a nuclear explosion. I don't know if it's like possible to actually like light fire to to like um part of the sun or something. I can't imagine that would really like work there. But I don't know. It's not really important. I mean, it's it's sci-fi.
Yeah, you expect some sort of suspension of disbelief. It depends on how much you want to suspend disbelief.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you sort of need like the facade of like realism, I guess. It needs to be like realistic enough or something. Or you have like threads that are like real enough, so everything else is like convincing.
I mean, you can go all the way and just make it a farce, like go full Garan Lagan essentially, and that can work too, of course.
Yeah, or something like Captain Harlock.
Yeah. I think the people mostly complain about it when it's midway, when it's not like basically when it's like in Code Geass, right? That's when people start to complain about how it's not
Yeah,
realistic that there's one mech which can.
yeah, because we need to take a Code Geass really seriously.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I guess some Code Geass is like it's a very strange show, right? Because like on the one hand, it's like very serious, like very like sort of, when very dark things are happening, but at the same time, everyone's like having like their Pizza Hut pizza, and there's like fan service everywhere, and
Yeah,
like
it's
and
it,
and the protagonist has like a harem basically of like of admirers.
it's
It's
sort of like
very it's
this.
very weird. It's like the fate of like Mecha. You know.
The fate of Mega.
Well, it's sort of like this. Oh, you have to conquer the entire world, but you're late for your math class.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my
Uh,
god, this math class was sponsored by Pizza Hut.
um, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think there's some people who don't who don't like who don't like it when you say that like LOGH is the peak of anime. All anime should be like LOGH. And on the other hand, like you have people um who like when somebody says that they don't like anime or whatever, um they will just recommend them Legend of the Galactic Heroes, to say that, well, not all anime is bad, guys, or something like that. I don't know. I don't like either of those things. I mean, I don't think you do see that problem that much with something like, say, uh, um, Lane, Serial Experiments Lane. Like, when it comes to that,
No,
you basically have both. The weeb crowd, who like Code Geass, but also people basically just somebody who's just into sci-fi or something. Somebody who has just seen Akira, and maybe Lane and a couple of other things, but doesn't really like most of anime. Um,
Well, that's kind of the thing with anime in general. Sure, there is common tropes and whatnot, but a lot of anime is unique in their own way. So if you don't like one anime, you can choose another one.
yeah.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think it's kind of like a bad idea to think that everyone is going to like Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I mean, obviously it's quite niche, really.
No, I mean, usually it comes
Uh,
it comes up like when people complain about like Code Geass just being, oh, I can't take when people say I can't take anything seriously hearing Code Geass because there's tits everywhere, like, and yet you people are talking about these deep themes and whatnot. This is just a fetish show. And then there will be some.
yeah, yeah. I kind of get what you're saying, but you know, this isn't like going to be a show that like people who want realism are going to automatically like, because it does have its own problems. It's not paced like a regular like television show or something. There's a lot to understand very quickly. You do have to be quite invested really to it, like very early on. I wouldn't say this is like a safe go to as like an example of like some like anime someone's gonna you know um I would say it's like a guaranteed thing that somebody goes into this, watches it all. It's not guaranteed that they're going to call it like a masterpiece or something at the end. It does have its issues. It's very sort of, other times it's very cobbled together. Like it's not very consistent, especially if you see it with like the laser disc corrections. I think Legend of the Galactic Heroes is for a very niche audience, really. And I think more people should see it because I think more people would enjoy it. But it's never going to have like a broad appeal or something, and it's never going to like appeal to everyone who would have seen like Akira or like some like high and production value serious anime or something. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, when one of the things that somebody who used to be Digibro used to say, um,
Yeah,
was that like a lot of people would put Legend of the Galactic Heroes, like, you know, like on 4chan, you have those threads where like you have you basically have an image divided into nine squares, and in each square you put your favorite anime. I think they're called 3 by 3 threads or something. And I don't know. I guess he was asking like how many of the people who put Legend of the Galactic Heroes they have actually watched it, or it's like you know, just to, I don't know, just to look good in front of anonymous people, even if they don't know who you are.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I will say like a surprising amount of people like do end up finishing the OVA. I would say that like yeah, like you're gonna get your pretenders, but I'd say like if you're if you call yourself a fan of the show, then like you've probably seen it. I'd say. I don't know. But yeah. Also, Digibro, rest in peace. He also did make this like, didn't he also make like a video called like the most boring tasting anime, where like people would just say that like, oh well, my favorite shows are what I believe other people hold in high esteem, and they would put stuff like they'll put stuff like a Dragon Ball or like Legend of the Galactic Heroes there and stuff, or like Evangelion, and they would like put that out there to be like all of smart and like intellectual and like and interesting, but and I'm not realizing that like everyone else also says like those are like their favorite shows as well. I thought that was like a pretty interesting observation of like how people act really when like they're talking about their like supposedly favorite shows. Um,
yeah, yeah, and I think yeah, I think he also said that it was more interesting when like I guess people would put a meme show in there because maybe like either they have a genuine reason for having this show which other people don't think of as highly, or on the other hand they don't have a reason but they still have to come up with one anyway, which is also
yeah.
more interesting than liking what everyone else likes. Yeah. uh,
I wonder, like at this point, what like my 9 by 9 would be. I think even like still like I'm still like a normie. Like I think my 9 by 9 would still be like boring. Yeah,
I guess my 9 by 9 would probably be Legend of Galactic Heroes,
yeah.
Shintendo Joe. Mm, I would say the original Gundam. What else? Oh, Kaiji is really good. Gurren Lagann. I don't know if I would put Monster in there. I would have to rewatch it to get to see if my opinion has changed.
hmm.
That's pretty good. No, I don't. I wouldn't even know like what I'd put. I guess I'd put like Welcome to the NHK in there. Um, Legend of the Galactic Heroes, of course. And then like some other stuff I don't know.
Yeah. um yeah, I mean but it's true that like
Oh, I would put Fate Grand Order, Absolute Demonic Front, or I'll I'll put that there as well.
yeah I yeah I yeah I mean it would be fun to do a stream of like you know, we all talk about our top 10 anime, but it's not our real top 10 anime. It's you know,
Yeah,
it's all memes.
it's like a
It,
Yeah.
fake. Yeah,
yeah, it's all meme shows, but we all have to come up with genuine reasons for having.
yeah. I would pick Family Guy. I would also pick um, yeah. I
Would.
think that I'll I
How
am like
about Twin
prepared to
Peaks?
spend a long time defending the honor of Family Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be pretty good, I think. Yeah, we should do like a tier list thing maybe, where we just have like a bunch of just like random selected shows, and then we
Oh,
should just put them in a tier list. We should like collectively decide like what a tier list should look like. That would be kind of fun.
I have some ideas for a few discussions. What would be Twin Peaks? The other one, I don't know why, but I just thought of The Sopranos for some reason.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My favorite anime is Twin Peaks.
Um. Yeah. Um. Cooper as an anime protagonist, I guess. So. Uh. Yeah. I was just looking at some forum threads, maybe about the movie, to see if there's anything else to say about it. One of the comments
I think.
says
Yeah, go on.
says that the Alliance's fighter pilot uniforms are identical to the Alliance fighter uniforms in Star Wars. I haven't seen Star Wars, so I can neither
That's
confirm.
not true.
uh,
That's not
kind of.
true. They both wear black, but those like fighter pilots, they have like tubes and stuff, and like they're black. Whereas the fighter pilots in on the Empire in Legend of the Galactic Heroes, they're like grey. They look a bit more like skulls.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the design is kind of different, and they have like more armor plating. Than they do in Star Wars. So I mean, that's not true.
So, one of the criticisms which people make against LOGH, and I guess we could talk about it specifically in this movie, that like it's not that um, Young and Reinhardt are geniuses, but it's just that everybody else is a retard. Or rather, that the author had to make everybody else be a retard because he can't actually write characters who are smart.
is this like snob in the in this forum or something?
No,
Um,
Snob is a fan of LOGH. So the way that it works is that his criticisms only apply to things that he doesn't like. So,
yeah,
uh,
okay, yeah, that's true. Um, I think it's a lot of the military formations in the show look kind of look quite simple often, right? Um, but like these formations are like massive scales, so it's very difficult trying to make these huge like military movements look that complex. Really, I mean, it's like I don't know. Like, let's say like I have like an ocean of fish, and I want that to fight like another ocean of fish. Like, how complicated and like intricate like can I like realistically be when I'm making them fight, especially on like the budget that this show had as well. Like, I don't really know like what I would even like what that would even like look like. Like, I have like no idea like, what like space combat would even look like. I don't really care like if it's how smart like the characters really seem in like in detail. It's more I think like what's more important are the outcomes of the battle, um, how the relationships between the characters change before, during, and after the battle. I think in terms of like the battle themselves, I think like they're always going to be like very limited. And I don't actually think it really matters like what sort of budget you have. There's always going to be these like hard limitations, right? So I don't know. I don't really know like how much of a criticism that like actually is. I mean, I would just say that like if you think like the way they fight is dumb, like just like try to picture in your head what a space battle on a scale where like a million people can just casually die, like what that would even look like. I mean, it's just like impossible to think about, really.
yeah, I think basically if you want to learn military tactics, then you probably shouldn't be watching anime. Um,
No.
um, like I don't. I mean, this is not. This is not a Death Note or something where like it really matters whether like the show can uh, convince you that the tactics which they use are really that clever. I mean, obviously, it would be better if they could do that. Um, I mean, and I think in the OVA series it does at some points like you know feel a bit clever. Um, the tactics which they come up with.
Yeah. Like I was also reading about the Punic Wars as well when I was watching this show, and I saw a lot of like real world comparisons. Like it did actually feel realistic how a lot of the engagements how they played out.
Yeah. Well, that can be explained because the author of the novel series is a huge historical nerd.
Yeah, yeah,
In
and
fact,
there's also obvious comparisons to Napoleon as well. I think they're even like made in the show. Like when the FPA invades into the empire, that's like compared to Napoleon's advance into Russia. And actually, yeah, like how the empire like reacts to the invasion is also very similar to how Russia reacted to Napoleon's invasion. So yeah, like I don't know, I don't, I never really had a problem with like the battles being like too simple or something.
Yeah, it's not exactly like you know um one side gets a super mech which can de- destroy thousands or millions of the ships on the other side. And even, I don't know. I mean, uh,
There are super weapons, but but like they're stationary, aren't they? Like they're not, but they don't. They're not really used that dynamically. Like there's an Iceland fortress, and then there's another fortress as well. But they don't really. They're not really used that much against the enemy. They're just sort of stationary, and they're more like strategic, important locations to capture, more than like deciders of the entire war, really.
yeah. So I think we have dragged this on to movie length. I don't know if it's feature movie length or not,
No,
but
I don't think so.
no, it's not.
yeah,
But that's fine. Let's stop torturing people.
yeah. So, any other thoughts, George, um, on the movie?
uh,
No.
really say. To
Yeah.
be honest, my thoughts on the film would probably blend in my thoughts of the OVA. So,
Right. Yeah. That's one of the things which I'm worried about, like doing this season by season as well a little bit. But I'm sure we will manage somehow. Um,
Yeah, like lots of stuff happen like every season. I don't think we'll run out of things to say.
yeah. And with that said,